I'll start with XRP on this chart, yeah. So here we have our range between 39,540 and 33 essentially, yeah. And I wasn't expecting price action to come this high yesterday. Excuse me. There was a message came on in the Fox News Chiron at the bottom of the screen about a settlement XRP Ripple is settling today. It said yesterday. Yesterday said they're settling today. Yeah, so I think it pushed. It gave it a bit of a pump more than anticipated. So what I was thinking is that we're going to get a lift, a drop, a lift, and it gradually works its way back up to about 40. Yeah, where it's actually come all the way up to 38.87 at the moment. So now the question is, will it want to go all the way up a little further to 40? And then if it does, will it then do that greater correction down? Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. So I'll show you the pattern that it has been following, relating it to the previous bottom, just to show you what I was talking, what I mean there, and then how things are playing out. So here's the bottom. Let me zoom in. And it's this on the daily. So now in the present pattern, we got a spike down here, an extra spike down, back up, and then a drop down. And then we got the lift up, and then we spent 3 days going down. So that's all following form. And you can see that there's a lift here. And this is the support level, yeah. Here, you get a nice lift up here. You get a drop back, and then 3 days of lifting, yeah. So it's been following this to a T. It went up higher. It went up higher in this candle. Now this daily candle also was a higher candle from this being the resistance. The candle went higher on this being the resistance on our present one. Yeah, this candle here, this green one, went higher where we are, and now this candle also went higher. Yeah, so there's a bit of a pushback up. A bit more of the bulls pushing back up. Equally, I think the news about the court case gave it an extra push, I believe, yesterday. Yeah. So we'll have a look at where the VWAP is and why the VWAP is holding it where it is at the moment, and it's going to slowly turn over the day. But the question is then, where is it going to go? Is how far down is it going to go? And will it still hold form and do a smaller correction here, and then again find its way back up, or has it already topped and maybe it wants to start coming down and breaking this, yeah, and heading down, yeah, heading down maybe for this next level here, yeah. So we'll see, we'll see. But basically at the moment, it's following form. Same. It's always a bit same but different. So now when I come over here. Where is it? Okay, so you can see is you got that extra wick down, you got the drop. And there's that green candle I was talking about. But it's come higher. So this level here being the resistance, is you can see how this green candle came higher than the previous pattern. But still, same but different. Now look, there's the 3 days of down. The turn of the day, there is a bit of a wick and up a come. And again, this lift has come higher than the previous pattern. But it's still same, but a little different. So now the question is that will we get a retrace here, a smaller one, and then we start to head back up for a couple of days where we start to top out around here, and then potentially we get our spill, yeah. Or will this come up and do come up a little further to around 40, top out, and then start to find its way moving down, and then break down, yeah, and basically break the form that it's in and start to do a little bit of its own thing. So that's the question. So now, why am I asking that? I'm going to go straight to the stock RSI, yeah. So this is the 5 minute top left. That's bottomed out, and it's only the 5 minutes. That's fine to reset. Short time frame. The 15 minutes at the top, so that's ready to do a little bit of a push down. The half hour is topping out again, ready to do a bit of a push down. You can see the hour has been held up there for quite a while, and again, that's because the VWAP is pushing up and the VWAP is slowly turning during the day, which I'll show you in a few moments, yeah. But you can see the hour is ready to head down, bottom left. 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour have all topped out. They're all ready to turn, yeah. Now if I flick to the 6 hour here, this box here, you see the 6 hour starting to top out. The 8 hour is close to the top. Again, the 9, the 10. There's the 12 hour on its way back up, yeah. So all the stocks are on the hourlies are either at the top or very close to the top, or this one here, the 12 hour, is on its way, yeah. This is the daily here, and again the daily, excuse me, the daily was down, and again it came up and it's heading back down again, and then here's the 2 day. You can see the 2 day is come up a little, it's pushing back down. The 3 day is down in the oversold, but it can still keep going. There's the 4 day on the way down. The 5 day is on the way down. The 6 day. So you can see where I'm going with this, yeah. So it's very close to the weekly and all the dailies down. The earlier time frames are at the top, ready to go down, and the mid time range from 6 to 12 is most of those are starting to top out, and again it looks like it's setting itself up for a down move. It's just a matter of when. It's just a matter of when. What does it need to do before all these start to trigger and cascade? Yeah, that's the question. Okay, so now if I go to the smaller time frame here, I'll go on this one because you can see it clearer. I'll go to the daily first. Hide the drawings, yeah. So maybe I'll just talk about the days that turned today, yeah, this morning. So the 6 day turned. Again, the VWAP is up, which again is encouraging a push. But you can see the 5, because this is the last 6 day. Here's this new 6 day. You can see how much the 5 is coming down and applying more and more pressure. Yeah. Equally, the 20 here is at 40.12, and again that's the basic resistance level at the moment. Yeah. So that's the 6 day that turned. I think the 3 day turned as well. And again, there's the 50 at 38.88. You see the way price action's wick to it. Also, the 5 is coming down here. The 10 is coming down again. Even the 20 EMA is coming down. The white one. But again, the VWAP is up. You see these long candles with wicks on them. But again, the pressure is downward. Yeah. And the VWAP is pretty much holding it up. It looks like the VWAP is the only thing that's holding it up at the moment, yeah. So that's the 3 day. That's me slurping my coffee. The 2 day, again, that turned as well. And again, look at the 2 day. The 5 is now down, applying a pressure. And again, look at the VWAP trying to hold it up, yeah. And again, the spill. And this is a 2 day. Look at the spill starting. The MAs are starting to move into a spill mode, yeah. And very close to, if you look at the white 20 EMA, the blue 55 EMA is very close to crossing over on the 2 day. So So that's very close to crossing over, yeah. And then on the 1 day, again, as you can see, that those 3 days coming down, look, the 5 was pushing down, VWAP's coming down, look, the VWAP took a turn, the 5 took a turn, there's a lift. But yesterday, excuse me, or this morning, the 5 turned down again, yeah? But the VWAP has turned up. And then look at the 10 coming down. So you can see that there's a bit of a battle going on between the 5 and the VWAP here. Is price action has gone down to the 5 and has come up to the 10, and you can see that pressure there, yeah? But the fact is the 10 is coming down on the 1 day and the 5 is coming down on the 2 day, applying pressure, yeah? And again, here's the 20 EMA crossing the 55, and again, that's coming down, applying pressure. And this resistance level here, here's the 200 coming down gradually as well, yeah? And equally, the 111 pi cycle coin level here. Excuse me. Couldn't even get it out. Hang on. Oh, excuse me. God, I love good sneeze. This is the 100 MA and the 144 WMA. So these are all solid resistance here. Equally, the EMA is coming down. A lot of solid resistance. I'm going to point this one out to you. Is on the, I think it's the 2 week. On the 2 week, this is on the 2 week, you can see the 20 crossed the 55 here way back in July, and that price action came up on the 2 week and got rejected at the 20 EMA, the 20 MA, the pink one, and then the 55 SMA. Very strong rejection, and it's getting a push down here, yeah. Excuse me. So this is on the longer time frame. This is quite a strong rejection. And then if you look at the steep turn of the 20, downturn of the 20s here, the white and the pink. So it's a lot of pressure. You can see the 5 here on the 2 week is starting to turn, yeah. And equally the 10 here. This is a solid downward pressure. Okay, so just thought I'd point that out to you. And then equally on the weekly, as you can see, the 5's coming down here very strongly. Yeah? And again, the 20 here as resistance at 39.60. So you can see there's an awful lot of resistance around this level. Yeah. Okay, so now let's zoom into what's going on today. Is look at the VWAP coming up like this. So the VWAP has to turn to allow price action to get down with that bit easier, yeah? So it gradually turns through the day. So I'll go to the 12 hour. See, the 12 hour on the day hasn't turned yet. So you can see the pressure is still up. But now, what time is it now? Okay, the 9 hour is going to turn soon. The 8 hour turned earlier. And look, you see the VWAP went sideways. And then on the 9 hour hasn't turned sideways yet. Oh, it has, excuse me. Okay, the next one to turn is the 10 hour. The 10 hour hasn't turned. It will in 7 minutes, yeah? So you can see now we're looking for the VWAP on the 10 hour to turn. So normally there's there's a tipping point when the 12 hour turns. So to start to see a proper movement down here is we need to see at least the VWAP on the 12 hour turn. And that can be the tipping point that starts to bring price action down. So what happens is that for the first part of the day, you get price action floating along the top. So now this is the 1 hour, and you can see the 1 hour turned at 1 o'clock OTC time last night. Yeah, so there's the top. It turned, look, it got a pressure down, but because, see the VWAP line here is like this, because the 1 hour has to wait for the day to gradually turn, is you get this push down, you're naturally going to get this lift back up, and it does, it's just doing a double top here, breaking slightly higher again, yeah. So now we'll be looking for the 5 here to take a turn down again, and if we zoom through this now, there's the There's the 2 hour, and you can see the 5 on the 2 hour, 5 MA, slowly turning. Slowly turning. So it's a slow process for that to happen. There's the 3 hour. Look, it's starting to bend a little bit, but the 4 hour, I think the 4 hour is still, the 4 hour needs to bend a little bit. Now, part of what the real strong resistance here is on the 4 hour. Look, it's after wicking to the 55. There's the 50 MA applying a pressure as well. Yeah. So one of the things that I think is happening here, and we talked about this, this could potentially be an A, B, C down, is look at this spill is when the 20 crosses the 55 on the 4 hour. So you get this initial spill. And then what happens is you always get a back test to the 55. Even the 50, it's now done that back test to the 55. If this holds, we should have another push down and another leg down. Obviously, if it breaks, we'll head on up. I don't think it's going to break with all the pressure coming down. Is we're getting our back test to the 55 on the 4 hour, and now it looks like we could be heading down another leg. So if we're going to look at what that leg might be, is let's stick it from this range here to here. This looks like the range from the top to the bottom here. And if we put a fib on it, and we start heading to the 1618 or so, we're looking at around 26.6. 1786 is 25.5. So we could get that other leg down potentially. Now, if that was the case, is think about the previous pattern again. Okay, the previous final dump. Here we go. Okay. And when we zoom into it, when we zoom in, excuse me, as you can see, once this has finally played out, is you get a drop, another bit of a retrace, and then you get a drop. So I reckon that 25, I think it might even be 23, could be this drop here. We go through another lift, and potentially we're coming all the way down to possibly 19, 18 cent. I believe potentially. So that's so you can see the stock RSI are setting themselves up for that. Yeah, it's just a matter of, to me anyway, it's just a matter of how. Okay, let's bring this all the way back. It's just a matter of how this plays out here. Yeah. It's just a matter of how this plays out here. So that's what I'm watching. Is with regards to target. Regards to target is I'll be looking for another move down here. Okay, another move down. So when we start to see a red candle probably appear on the 4 hour or the 12 hour, when the 12 hour turns, we should be getting another push down, and that should help set a range. And then potentially this time is it gives us our range that we can put the fibs on it. Yeah. Put the fibs on it and look for our 702. Yeah, so that's what I'm waiting for. Yeah, could it go up here and give another touch to 40? It could. It might decide to go a little higher. It could do that. Is, to me, it sort of looks like it's looked like it's topping out a little bit, but I'm not fully confident in that until I see the 12-hour turn and really what's going to happen over the next hour or two. So one of the things I would like to see happening is on the 1 hour, the 5 MA take another turn down. Okay, want to see the 5 MA take another turn down. Want to see the 5 MA on the 2 and 3 hour take a bit of a curve, and more so the 4 hour. I want to see the 5 MA on the 4 hour start to turn. Start to turn or take a nice sharp turn. So we got to see what when the 5 on the 4 hour properly starts to turn. I think that's a really good sign. That's to me, that's clearly showing that's topping out. And while that's in process, we probably get our range and we get our position. And then one of the thoughts I have is if we've topped out here, great, we could be heading down, or do we have a smaller correction and then it moves up another leg and then comes down? So when this tops out, I'll be looking to see how it behaves when it starts to move down, and yeah, I'll be watching around the 30, I think the 34.5 mark, 34 mark. I'll be watching to see a reversal. Yeah. So now if I just put a basic fib on this, is around around the 702, around the 34, maybe even the 786, 33.5, around here. Actually, I'll tell a lie. I'll want to see it break the 05. So I want to see it break 35.30. So with our correction here, if it breaks the 05, it starts to touch off the 618. Generally, that means it's not a shallow correction. When it starts to break the 05 and start to move into the 618, it generally means that it's going to do a fuller correction. So even if it's going to break down further, it's probably going to do a correction here, head back up to the 05 or a 382, and then continue on down. If that was going to spill, is if it follows the form of the previous pattern, we might get an 05 or a 618, somewhere in this zone, and then it wants to come back up and test this level again, and we get another test up here before it eventually turns and heads down. Yeah. Now that would be following the previous pattern to a T, which it has been doing so far, but for these lifts have been higher. This went a little higher than I anticipated. This fecker went a little higher than I anticipated, but it is still following the same form. So two options that I can recognize is a shallower correction, another lift back up to test the 40 before it heads down, or maybe it breaks the form, it's come high enough here, it does a correction, it does a small little lift here, and then heads on down. I think it's one or the other. So we got to just watch and see how it goes. Yeah. But that's me for now. We just got to wait for it to give us a range and something to put a fib on and look for a 702. So there you go. That's me.
Now, good morning, everyone. Let's see where we are. I'm going to start with the DXY because I think the DXY is quite relevant in terms of what we're going to see in the next, it's 12 o'clock, maybe 4 to 8 hours or so. I believe we're going to see a little bit of sideways, and then we might see a lift of the DXY. As you can see on the 4 hour, there have been all throughout this swing down, there have been bullish divergences. The 4 hour regular RSI has reset to the bottom, but the stochastic is stuck up there at the top. So what generally we need to see here is these two going in the same direction, and that direction would be upwards. We need to see a recovery of a recovery from the oversold area. And in order to turn the 4 hour sideways and then upwards on the stochastic, which is here, this is where this is what I mean. We need to have a couple of sideways candles, sideways and up, so that the blue line turns up. And we will have something along maybe these lines here. So you see from here to here, it stayed sideways and going up, and even if it dipped here, continued to go up, which is what I believe might happen. Now, we still need to see, I was saying yesterday, we need to see some support, because we don't have that support to support the to be the base for the lift of the DXY. We need to see the 20, the midline of the Bollinger become the support, and this yellow line here. It might drag out in terms of, you know, sideways motion for Bitcoin and Ethereum and maybe the whole market. I have noticed that coins are doing their own thing individually. Like, I've seen percentages very different from even between the three coins that we're looking at here. They're different in terms of moves. So Bitcoin and Ethereum, because they're the bigger coins, they tend to move more in line with the general financial market, and they seem to be more influenced in their moves by the DXY. Also because they're harder to move in terms of liquidity. I think that's what we need. So the indicator that's for me inconsistent with what the other ones are showing on the 4-hour and the daily is the 4-hour stochastic that needs to turn up. If I switch to the day, we can see that on the day, the stochastic, the regular, and then the divergence indicators are all bottomed out. So that means we are ready to see a lift. If we see a lift in the DXY, that means we see a drop in crypto, which again is quite consistent to where we are right now in our swings. Having said that, let's move into the daily chart. So yesterday we had a back test of this line, and the support and resistance line at 15,500, and it held, and then it went up. We don't have a higher high on the day yet for Bitcoin. We are still moving in this space, so we might be moving in this space, doing a little bit of a lift until the next 4 to 8, the next maybe 1 to 2 4-hour candles turn, and then the DXY starts lifting, and then we start coming down. Yesterday's correction reached the 702. I was telling Leon the chats that I would be taking my profits at the 702 if I'm not watching it, and if I am watching it, I would be taking my profits at the 702 or the 786 as soon as it's printing a double bottom on the 15-minute. I am sorry, but I'm not hanging out for longer than this, because it could reverse just as easily. And that's what it did yesterday. It didn't have a crazy reversal like XRP, plus Bitcoin compared to XRP did a 702 correction rather than a 0.5. But it's almost back there at yesterday's high. No, that's a wick. So right now we would be on our way to mountain peak. If this was double top in our arc, mountain peak should be at least the size of double top. Could we go there in the coming hours? We might. It would be a 7% lift. At the moment, with the lift that we had yesterday, there's still space in the 1-hour RSIs, the regular one, the stochastic, and then there's still space in the regular 4-hour RSI, and the stochastic we know can move sideways. So while the DXY might be going sideways and slightly down, Bitcoin could still lift up. I'm gonna switch to see if we have any reversal indicators. We have a pivot candle here on the 1-hour, but at the moment we don't have a 1-hour vector candle, so we might, again, everything looks good to do a lift to 17,500, which is the 200 EMA or the M4 on the day. It wouldn't be higher than the double top, but it would still be in the same range. Could we go to M5? Yes, if there is enough momentum, and if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, we could go up to M5, which means that this correction yesterday is done, and now we are setting up for a mountain peak. And again, I'm still holding those ranges. I'm trying to I'm slowing down because I have what's going on with XRP is on my mind. But the ranges for Bitcoin are not affected. So it is moving in the space that it should be moving. Yesterday it did the correction that we anticipated. It didn't come down to a 786, but that's perfectly okay. That's why we need to take profit earlier rather than later. So yes, that's where Bitcoin is at the moment. So if we are looking at the trading plans that we made yesterday, the trade setups, I'm gonna change to the 1 hour. We had the correction. I anticipated to come down to the 786. It only stopped at 702. That's okay, and then started going up. Now, this swing in itself doesn't look like a strong swing as is at the moment. It would need a little bit of a retracement. Maybe the 1 hour stochastic will be making a trip down, but overall we are still on our way up to this green line, which should be the divergence line of this swing. I want to say the support, but it's not. It's the divergence line of this swing. So, and here would be the range for mountain peak. So that's where bottom line is. We are on our way to mountain peak. I don't see any obstacles as we are right now. What we need to get through is the previous high. So that would be the technical obstacle to get through. But the RSIs and the movement and the recovery, the correction that we had yesterday, they all indicate the same thing. It does look a little bit choppy. It does look sideways. It is a small range. But that's what Bitcoin has been doing lately. Small ranges, then boom, explosion. So we could be small range, moving in the small range, and then explosion to the upside, a 7% lift to the previous 18K level. I don't see any reason why it's not getting there for the moment, and that would be a natural lift, and it would still keep in the same daily space, and it would still keep us preparing and consolidating for level 3. I would be happier to see level 3 sooner rather than later, but it's going to happen when it's going to happen. Let's see what Ethereum has done. Ethereum again was very conservative yesterday with its correction. It did a tiny correction. So here was our trade setup. It did only this correction. Well, it was a 12-hour correction, fair enough. But there were 3 candles, but it only came down to again the same level, the golden pocket. So it didn't. I expected this correction to take us down here, the bottom of this. It didn't. So it's as disappointing as that is for a short trade. It gave us the direction. It gave us a nice percentage. But then the 15-minute, and that's why I'm telling you guys, follow the 15-minute when it gets to certain fib levels. Look at the 15-minute. It printed a perfect double bottom. So and it gave you 3 choices here to take profit. I always say the market is generous, and it gives you three times to take profit. So you could have taken it here, the golden pocket, if you had a limit. If you didn't, here you see the 3rd red candle here, doesn't break it, take your profit there. Then it goes up and back tests the 20. You know, it never breaks the 20 on its second try. minimum, minimum 2 tries, generally they're 3, no matter the time frame, even on the 15-minute. And here it is offering it again. And after this W formation, here it is going up. Now you'll hear a little bit of how can I say, hesitation in my voice, because same as with Bitcoin, what I'm intuitively not seeing here is a solid foundation for this lift. So again, I'm expecting Ethereum to go up to mountain peak around the areas of 1340. It might never get there because it might be stopped by the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. This is it. So this might be as far as it goes. It doesn't mean that that's the mountain peak. So if it doesn't break this and it only stops here, we are still in the space of the double top formation. We haven't yet broken and reached the first drop. So we have to see where this swing stops. And you'll hear the hesitation in my voice because I see the indicators clearly showing up a lift. So on both Ethereum and Bitcoin, we have space to continue. On the regular RSI, the stochastic will turn up as well because the 15-minute is pushing. The 4 hour, again, the regular RSI has plenty of space, and the stochastic is in the overbought, but it can stay in the overbought for ages. So that's not a red flag for me. But what is a red flag is, I'm thinking about how can I show it clearer. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch to the 1 hour here. Okay. Okay. What I am not seeing here is a strong foundation for this lift. Now this is supposed to be quite a hefty lift in terms of percentages. So if we're going from here to here, it's 11%. And all this 11% should have a stronger base along the lines of this here, this here, this here. So that's how I would see this swing as a sustainable swing. I know that the times that we're in are very volatile, so maybe that's what's impacting. Maybe this is what's throwing off my my image of a sorry guys, that's Roy watching TikToks while I'm struggling here to put my ideas together. So there are volatile times when we just go up like we did here in a straight line, and it's a 23% lift, and I just find this swing not to have, like, is this the swing, the base of an 11% swing? Is this only this thing here that had, if I'm putting the fib on this, it's a golden pocket. Okay, it's a gold. So the whole swing here had a golden pocket correction. So what I mean is that I would have preferred to see a deeper correction, like Bitcoin's 702. That's a nice swing base, rather than just down to the golden pocket. But again, I have seen, if I think about the times I've seen Ethereum go on runs of, even 30-40% swings, it does happen to have that 0.5 or golden pocket correction, sometimes even a 382 correction. So that's the only thing that is sort of like interfering with my logical perception of this, a stronger base. Other than that, both Ethereum and Bitcoin seem to be set to have the lift. On Thursday, when we're gonna do our post-trade analysis, again, I'm gonna repeat to take profit at the double bottom. If that double bottom is on a fib retracement level, please take your profits. You don't have to start a long. Again, if you want to go into a long, check that you have your 3 yeses, and I'm pretty sure yesterday's gave you your 3 yeses there. XRPs was the hardest to see because it came down to a 0.5, and it didn't have as many divergences, but Ethereum and Bitcoin were quite clear in their reversal. So they came down and then they printed a nice double bottom across 4 hours. So there were 4 hours of sideways, plenty to observe the movement. So that's it. I'm gonna be posting this soon on the chats. In a nutshell, we are still on our way to a mountaintop as it looks. We have the technical, our technical targets, our technical target obstacles are the previous peaks. So if we stop at the previous peak, or if Ethereum stops at the 200, then we're coming down, and this might still be double top area, double top space, which might happen after a drop this big and come down to do our bigger correction. So that is the how can I say, the invalidation scenario. So we have the validation scenario, we have all the green lights to go to mountain peak to reach this level. If this level is not broken, we are coming down, and we will be doing our first drop then and there. So that's it. Sorry about the hesitation, but I'd rather tell you how I think than tell you good sounding ideas. Or if something is suspicious, I will let you know, because I want you to know it so that you make the best decision for you. Thank you guys.